friends, far and wide. We are live. It is Tasty Tuesday. I am Eric, your humble malt muser, beaming the whiskey signal from Chicago, Illinois. We have a full show for tonight after missing last week, and I'm excited to get into it. But first, y'all, I just want to take a second to both just hold space for the fear and the trauma in the loss that so many people are feeling recently here in the United States as it relates to the ongoing extremely disturbing situations around gun violence, whether that is what happened in Buffalo, New York, or Laguna Woods, California, what happens near daily on the streets of cities, big and small here, and what happened today at the elementary school in Texas. As a general rule, I don't get political on this show, and I'm not going to now, and I'm going to ask all of y'all not to. This isn't the place to argue. This is the place to just enjoy whiskey, but I think right now the thing to do, if you guys are open to it, I just happen to have a Balconia single malt here that was barreled in Texas. I'm just going to have a pour and hold just a minute or so of a couple moments of silence just to hold space for the people around us that are going through hell right now, and remind all of us to just kind of connect with those we love even more than we maybe do now. Cilantro. Okay. All right. Like I said, we got a big show tonight. I know some of y'all probably caught the initial posting for this that I was going to be talking about. I was talking about doing the special release whiskey tonight. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that, but I got another one that we're going to do. So we're going to crack open and check out a Islay cask finished Ohishi Japanese whiskey, which should be, or I should say whiskey from Japan. More on that soon, which should be pretty interesting. So we're at least going to stick on Islay. And I have, in the second half, this huge box that showed up at my doorstep. And this is from our good friend Foodquig. So we're going to crack this open and see what he has sent us, and probably try a sample or two. So we'll get into all of that in short order, y'all. We got 10 folks in already, which is great. Let's get into the chat. What's up? First in the door, Daniel, East Texas. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. For real. Old Paltney 12 in the glass. That's not a bad starter. I did review that last week. And then found out that they were dropping it to 40% here in the US, which is just criminal. Rob MC's in the house. Yeah, right. For real, man. Gerbic, Florida. What's going on in Jupiter, Florida, man? Four Roses single barrel in the glass. Right on. Yeah. Seriously. Just ran through a few different wild turkeys, moving to Irish or Scotch in a minute or two. All right, man. Good deal. Peter White's in the house. What's up, Peter White? Ontario, Canada. How are you doing, sir? Ben Demon Hunter, just a little bit to his east. I'm sorry, west. I'll get this right one of these days. Alberta, Canada. What's up, man? Cheers, prayers, and health. Yeah. You said it, man. The suburbs of Atlanta, Georgia. It's IC86. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Always good to have you in the house. Juniper Lane down in Texas. How you doing, Juniper? Yeah. Dram Dude's in the house. Northern California. What's up, buddy? Nice to have you here, man. Cheers Top shelf doesn't. Yeah, for real. For reals. Cheers, man. Back at you. Arizona, beaming from the desert. It's our buddy. It's Leo. What up, Leo? Good to see you, man. Great to have you. LA, City of Angels. James Chang is in the house. What's going on, man? Austin Bourbon in the glass for him. Yeah, it was really good. In fact, I think you might be responsible for me having this bottle. So cheers to that. Yeah, killing the Maker's Mark cast strength. Right on, right on. All right, y'all. Thank you for the $10 super chat, Jane. Oh, man, I appreciate that. Okay, let's get into this, y'all. So I got this bottle a while ago. I'm not really sure what to think about this in general. I'm skeptical, maybe. There's a few reasons for that. So first and foremost, let's talk about this. So this is the Ohishi. Maybe some of y'all see around. We definitely see it in Chicago. It is an Islay cask finish. It is a rice whiskey. It's not a complete shochu. So it's not just like all like from rice or, well, malted rice. This is distilled from malted, and then there's unmalted rice in it. So it is still technically a whiskey. They can't call it a Japanese. Sorry about that, y'all. Why they can't call this a Japanese whiskey, I am not entirely sure. Because here's the deal. The rules with Japanese whiskey, malted grains and other cereal grains, water extracted from Japan, conversion of starches and sugars and fermentation must take place at a Japanese distillery. Whiskey must be matured in wooden casks stored in Japan for at least 3 years. Bottling must take place only in Japan, and they can use caramel color. So here's the deal with this one. So it's made from rice, which is a grain, and so that counts. It is malted and unmalted rice fermented. So this might be it. It's not distilled. It's fermented. That might be it. But it says distilled from malted. Man, it's got that too. And the water is sourced from a river in Japan. Now, the other thing is maybe it's because it doesn't have an age statement. So it's got to be 3 years. Maybe this is less than 3 years, so they can't call it Japanese whiskey. I don't know. In any event, that's the deal here. What I was also able to find out, so Ohishi, they basically do sherry cask and brandy cask, and then they kind of find other finishes to do. This one, it is almost certainly that this was aged in Kilchoman barrels, as they do have a relationship with Kilchoman. It's bottled at 42.8%. So here we go. That's the tale of the tape here on the Ohishi. I would love to hear in the chat, has anybody had any of their whiskeys before? Particularly some of our folks out in California who've probably seen this in the Fucanos a lot. Very similar in style. They are rice-based whiskeys. This is about $80, $85. So we'll see what it's all about. I'm going to crack this open now, get this in the glass. And yeah, let me know in the chat if anybody's had this or any of their other expressions before. So on and so forth. And we're going to give this thing a try. I don't think I've ever had a whiskey from Japan or a Japanese whiskey that was peated for that matter. So here we go. Put this in the glass. Okay. We don't know anything about color or non-chill filtration, so I don't have any clue. I can say that the Fucanos that I've had, and I will be doing more reviews of them, are actually really, really good. And I find that these rice whiskeys are quite rich. Delicious, to be honest. This is the color. So it's either a sherry or a brandy. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to guess brandy by the smell. But anyways, here's the bottle one more time. Again, since they instituted these new rules finally for Japanese whiskey, they can't call this one a Japanese whiskey, but they can call it a whiskey from a product of Japan. So we don't know why, per se, because it seems to meet all the requirements. Again, except maybe it's not 3 years old. I don't know. In any event, it's an Islay cask finish. We're going to give this a try right now. On the nose, again, I'm guessing this is brandy cask. They don't tell you crap. You really got to like run around the internet looking for it. So here we go. This is okay. I'm guessing this is brandy. So there's nice vanilla notes. Super complex. Dark grape, dark cherry. And it does have a bit of that kind of Robitussin. What do you call it? The cough medicine? Cinnamon stick. So we're kind of looking at rich sweetness, spice. It does have a bit of that acrid kind of note, which I kind of find in Kilchoman Cask and Kilchoman in general. The peat, it's not very strong or overpowering. As you would expect. I mean, this is just finished in Islay Cask. I think it's about 8 months. So another distillery, and I should mention this, there's Kayo. So Kayo is another one of these whiskey brands in Japan that can't call it Japanese whiskey. They can only call it a product from Japan. And the reason for that is that they do not age it fully in Japan because they take it out into the ocean and put it on boats, and they go because, you know, whatever, it's gimmicky or it adds something to it, and it goes into international waters. So the international waters makes it not Japan, and therefore, yeah. This one I do not know, but the peat on this, subtle, fresh, minty, clean. Again, really interesting. This is around $80. It's 42.8, so we're just above that 40% minimum. You don't find very high ABV in a lot of these rice whiskeys from Japan. Okay, well, happy Tasty Tuesday. Thanks for rolling with this. Next week, I will have that Buna Fesh Seal Octave Sherry Cask. Fingers crossed, but for now, we try this. Solange, y'all. Happy Tasty Tuesday. Wow, interesting. It's almost got a Madeira-like quality. Does anybody have this? Let me check the chat here quick. Hey, what's up, Gary? Jason Coates, man. Nice to see you, buddy. How are you? I've seen the bottle, but I haven't tried it. I know that Ohishi means delicious. We're going to find out about this one. Coates is here. I think so. I mean, they're clearly applying them here because my assumption is that they would probably just call it Japanese whiskey otherwise, especially because they seem so close. Let me take a look. You know, Dustin, I'm not 100% sure if they're being enforced yet, but they might just be doing it. There's just nothing that immediately strikes me that this doesn't qualify as a Japanese whiskey. And why wouldn't you advertise it like that if you couldn't? I mean, obviously, look at the way they put their bottle. I mean, right? But good to see you, Coates. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's my best guess as to like what might be preventing this from being called a Japanese whiskey, or maybe they just do this by choice. Who knows? Oh, nice, Gary. San Francisco. What up, man? I've heard about that one. And 30-31. Okay. Righteous. Yeah. I mean, you like scotch, so you would like it. Okay. Let me do one more sip here, and then we'll talk about it. Again, unsurprisingly, this is a little bit on the challenging and interesting side. It's pretty medium-bodied, a decent richness. Grape. There's vanilla. There's grape. There's an herbal note that I can't quite put my finger on. You do get a little hit and because I read that this was Kilchoman, I can taste that it's Kilchoman. It does taste like a Kilchoman cask. It's got a little bit of that, again, the kind of sharpness, a bit of the kind of, there's a little bit of a cloying note. There's some dark chocolate. There's some milk chocolate. There's some, what is the name of that Japanese lychee? If you've ever had lychee before, you would definitely notice that in here, as strange as it sounds. My guess is that this could be Madeira. I mean, I thought they only did sherry or brandy, but boy, that doesn't look like a brandy to me. It smells like one, but it's very light for that. So, there's definitely an herbal quality to this. Before I was saying sweet, spicy, this is more herbal and sweet. It almost has like a chartreuse kind of note, maybe like a watered down Fernet, Fernet that you put in Coke. It has a bit of the bitterness, a bit of the dryness, that kind of punch of like sharp green herbs, anise. It's all in there at moderated levels, but it's all in there. Wow, interesting. Okay. I'm going to put some water on this. So far, I got to say, not my favorite of these rice whiskeys that I've had so far. And I do have a couple others that we'll be doing along the line here. We'll see what water does to it. I feel like these rice whiskeys might be trying to fill a void because Fukano, Ohishi, Kayo, these were not things you found really outside of California for a minute. But as Japanese whiskeys have went to NAS and gotten crazy expensive because of the popularity, I think that these have, these are kind of coming into the market. They're not as expensive. I don't mind this. Is this worth $80? Would I spend $80 again? Look, here's the thing. It's got a really nice mouthfeel. It's silky. It's got complexity. It's robust. The water is bringing out more of the sweetness, which I find to be a little bit saccharine-like and a little bit off-putting, to be completely honest with you. So I like this more neat. The Islay cask definitely is giving it a little bit of that peatiness at the end of the development going into the finish. Would I buy it again? I'm not so sure. We'll see where this goes. I'll do a full review eventually, but all in all, it's interesting. I don't know that they nailed it. And what is really, I think, holding me up here is what else this thing was aged in. My understanding, and maybe somebody can correct me, is that they use only brandy casks and sherry casks. To me, this is not sherry at all, which would leave it at brandy. But I don't find, I find a little bit of a brandy note, but this, if it is, it's very subtle. And there's a lot of things I associate traditional with vanilla. There's a little coconut, or I'm sorry, not vanilla, bourbon. There's a little bit of coconut. There's a little bit of vanilla, which I suppose you could get out of anything, but there's a little bit of dark chocolate that just has a little bit of that charred oak quality to it. Beguiling. Interesting stuff. I think, yeah, I mean, if you're looking to get into Japanese whiskey and it excites you at the idea of an Islay cask finished one and you're going to get the best of both worlds, is this something you should run and grab? Maybe not. This is a try before you buy whiskey for sure. I think I'm not sure I would go out and spend the money just because the flavor, the flavor profile is just so discordant with what you guys expect out of regular Scotch. Yeah, it kind of misses a little bit for me. There's just this cough syrup note. If you took just the flavor, not the cloyingness. You know, this is going to take a little bit of time to figure out, as always, and it always does. But you know, I'm sitting in that 275 range on this, a tick below average, just not quite to the point where, you know, even worth grabbing a bottle at a good price. This is something you really got to try first to find out if you like. It's going to take, and I think most whiskey drinkers will find this to be a little bit out there, just because of the nature of these fruit notes. Again, this lychee note, which I think I'm picking up quite a bit. It's just not quite an intro to Japanese whiskey or whiskey from Japan, and also not the most. It's just not that much enjoyable. It's not as harmonious, right? The Islay cask finish is kind of giving it a sharper edge to an otherwise kind of interesting whiskey. I can only imagine what their brandy cask whiskey tastes like. I do have a single cask sherry, full Oloroso, which we'll check out sometime. But for this one, yeah, this one's not quite living up to the mark for me. I'm going to sit in that 275. So, you know, for me, 3 is average. So we're looking at a try before you buy situation, like for sure, you know, hovering in that, I don't know, 78 range, or, you know, whatever, 78 to 83, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's right around there. Well, 75 to 78. So yeah, there you go. It's a strange one. And that licorice. There's so much strange stuff going on. I mean, it's interesting. Like, I enjoy how this challenges the palate. I mean, it definitely, this is outside the box for most scotch. You know what the other thing in here that I want to mention that I know I said licorice or anise before. It's like those spiced candies. They're like those jelly spiced candies. Maybe some of y'all have had those. It's just weird. Yeah. 275. Ohishi whiskey, Islay cask finish. Not one of my favorites. But I think the only peated, or, you know, something that approaches peatedness. Michael Besley's in the house. What up, Maryland? Dude, really? That's amazing. Congrats, man. That's going to be awesome. You're going to have to report back on this. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was thinking it could be like Madeira. It has a bit of that Madeira sweetness, that kind of like golden fruit raisin thing, but I don't know, man. It's tough to say. It's not Oloroso, that's for sure. Coates, working. Listen, right on, man. Let's make sure we keep Jason entertained this evening, y'all. Chris Ass, Quad Cities, Illinois. What up? Good to see you, sir. Great to have you in the house. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, all in all, this is a little bit of a strange one. I was hoping for something a little more traditional, if that's something I dare say about a Japanese whiskey. Okay, so we're gonna move on. As I said, I'm gonna do my best to bring you guys the uncorking review of the new Festival release from Bunnahabhain, which is aged in octave sherry casks. Hopefully to do that next week. Friday, by the way, y'all keep an eye on your inbox. If you are a Patreon supporter, you will get early access. It is my 200th Whiskey Video review. I will have a review posted Friday for non-Patreons as well, for supporters as well, of Laphroaig 15 200th anniversary edition. You see what I did there? Yeah. Clever, right? All right, moving along. Something Canadian this way came. and it's a very large box. It's a freaking crazy large box, and it has come to my doorstep from one man in British Columbia. I think you guys can all guess who it is. You're right. It's Foodquig. So Foodquig has sent me a box of samples. He and I have been doing this for a couple of years. If you ever catch any of the live streams we do, which we do a few times a year, we tend to talk about this. But we have been sending each other samples. A couple, like 3-4 years now, maybe. And the latest box has arrived, and I thought, why not crack this open here on the show and see what he has sent us, and see if we don't find something in here to sip on tonight. And we got 13 folks in, which is rad. Thank you guys all for hanging out, tuning in. Great to see you. Here we go. One of these things we tend to do is add unnecessary amounts of packing peanuts to these boxes. And I see Quig has decided to continue this tradition. So here we go. I'll find out what we got in here, and then we'll see if there's one worth drinking. We'll vote on it. Oh, wow. Okay. So first out the gate here, we have a Port Charlotte 2013 Isla Barley. That seems to be pretty consistent with what we've been drinking tonight. I'm assuming I'm going to get a whole bunch of Canadian whiskeys. Here we got Glen Spanish, 57.3% single cask strength first fill ex bourbon, bottle 20 of 79. Wow. Okay. Anybody know any deets on this one? Ben Demon Hunter, you got it, buddy. Dude, I love the old Paulney 12. It is so damn sad that they have dropped it to 40%. That is a good bottle. Any thoughts on the Buna? I have not had it. You know what? It was too expensive. I am not a huge brandy guy, and the Calvados tends to, it's basically a brandy. I can't speak to it. It was too pricey for my blood, if I can be totally honest with you. So I didn't touch it, but I'd love to try it. All right, next. Here we have another one, a Glen Saanich Canadian single malt, 45% small batch number 6. Where are my Canadian people at? What are you going to tell me about this stuff? Is Quig sending me his bottom feeders or what? Is this from the bottom of the Quig shelf? Holy God. Look at this bottle. This is like a Quig's travel shampoo bottle filled with 100 volt, 100 proof Canadian rye whiskey. 100 volt? Nice, man. I love it. All right. What a great Jesus Christ. What is this? We got mason jars. We got plastic bottles. Steelhead Canadian whiskey. It's called B Word, 46%. I almost think, forget the whiskey. We should open it by the most fun packaging he's given me. This is great. He's accelerated things. Here's another one. Canadian Club Chronicles, 44 years old. Okay. This one he put into a nice spot. He's probably ran out of bottles is what it is. 45% ABV, 44-year-old Canadian Club Chronicles. Oh, boy. All right. Let's see what else we got buried in here. Jesus, there's a lot. All right. Here's another one. Alberta. Oh, this is the new Alberta Premium Cask Strength Batch 3. He must be trying to get rid of it. I mean, look at how much he gave it to me. Oh, man, this is good. He's going to get some of these bottles back, let me tell you. I've already packaged up his next one, but the one after this. We got another Canadian whiskey here. Macaloney's Caledonian Invermilly, 57.9. Premium Recharred Red Wine Barriques. Ooh, I have liked almost everything from Macaloney's that he has sent me, as well as 2 brewers for that matter. There's a couple more. Here we have Compass Box Orchard House blended malt. Is Cohen in the house? I know he's been wanting me to try this. 46% blended malt whiskey, scotch. And 40 Creek, 8.5% Master's Cut cask strength Canadian whiskey. We got some Canadian whiskey in the house. Okay. I think that might be it. He has sent me every freaking packing peanut he had. I guarantee it. He's going to get all of these back. Quig, if you're watching, you're going to be getting some packing peanuts. In fact, I forgot to put any in the new package, so you're going to get away with it for now, but I'll get back to you. Okay. I think that's what we're looking at here, y'all. All right. Another great assortment of whiskeys from our good friend Foodquig, who, by the way, if you have not subscribed to, you should definitely head on over there and subscribe to youtube.com/Foodquig. Sounds right. Okay, so how are we going to break this down? We have some rye, we have some peated, and we have some, well, should we stick with the scotch? Should we go scotch? Should we go Canadian? What do you guys think? Jason Coates says, I hear the Orchard House is pretty good. Yeah, that one seemed like a pretty decent one. I'm curious to try this. Should we try the Orchard House? Let's do it. Okay. Let me just get some deets on this so I can tell you guys about it. Compass Box Orchard House. Daniel says, oh, how many trips have they made between Chicago? Many. And I think they will continue to. I might have to reopen. I haven't dropped mine off for him yet, so I might have to reopen it and shove a few in there. He deserves them. He loves the packing peanuts. Just ask him. He goes, let's go scotch. Okay, so here's the tail of the tape here on Compass Box Orchard House, which I've only heard of and not actually had before. Let me find the whiskey base for this. Sorry, y'all. Okay, it is. Here it is. So this is whiskey base number 188561 for all of y'all. Take it easy, Gary, man. Always great to see you, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Well, here's the tail of the tape here on Compass Box Orchard House. It is a blend of Kalila, Kleinleash, Linkwood, and Ben Rinnes. Sounds pretty good. 46% ABV, bourbon cask, Oloroso sherry, and French oak. Damn. And it's NAS. It seems to be at a relatively modest price. Unoffensive, easy sipper. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like this is... So this one is a relatively new one out of Compass Box. Interesting. Oh, here's the age ratio that somebody, of course, on Whiskey Base has posted. 8-year-old Ben Rinnes, 8-year-old Linkwood, 8-year-old Kleinleash, 6-year-old distillery near the town of Aberlour, 10-year-old Highland Malt Blend, 8-year-old Kalila. Yo, I should. What's up, Indy? Vancouver, how are you, man? I still have so many shelter points that he's sent me that I got to get into. But yeah, I was hoping he would send me one. I'm sure he'll give me more soon. Code says it's mostly 68-year-old. They're new entry-level bottling. Okay, so this is replacing then the Great Artist Street stuff or the Great King Street series, or is this? You know what? Let me just get it in the glass. Who fucking cares, right? Let's just drink it. If it's good, it doesn't matter. And if it's not, we can judge it later. Okay. Here we go. Compass Box Orchard House. I'm guessing this is going to taste like apple juice. This is the color, by the way. It's quite light. Fairly standard for Compass Box. Okay. And the Prohibition is a cask strength. Nice. Okay, here we go. It sounds like a lot of y'all have had this, so will go through this relatively quick. Looks like U.S. prices are around $45 on this. That's a little bit above those great King Street series, but not much. Ooh. When I said apple, I didn't realize it was going to smell like apple juice. It smells like apple juice. It has the sweetness of apple juice. It has a little bit of cinnamon, and it just has that juicy apple. This is juicy red apple. A little bit of spice in the background. Again, cinnamon. There's some vanilla. There's a malty note. Not much in the way of peat or smoke from the Kalila. Not bad. I could see this being a very nice, easy sipping summer whiskey. And it's 46%, which is, come on. Can't hate on that, right? Okay, well, let's give it a try. It does have a little bit of a grainy quality to it. I don't know what exactly I mean by that, but I think you know it when you know it. Again, so profile-wise, this is sweet and sweet. There's like a little bit of cinnamon spice in the background. This is just straight up sweet. It's nice, though. Maybe a little hint of floral. Okay, here we go. Let's launch, y'all. Thank you, Foodquig. Nice mouthfeel. Sweet. A little bit of shortbread sugar cookie. A lot of that. Sugar cookie for sure. You get a little bit of a bite at the back end. This is where that Kalila is coming in. Lemon, citrus, lemon drop candy, short finish, short medium. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit. Hey, this ain't bad. This is a crisp, refreshing. Have you ever described a whiskey as refreshing? This is not bad. It's almost like a white wine, like a Riesling or something, or Pinot Grigio, but a whiskey. Let's see what they're going for here. Hey, you know what? It even has the smell a little bit of a white wine. Let's see what they're trying to do with this. This is the whiskey for when you're like hanging out with your girl. You're going to go see some music live and you're sitting on a hill on a summer night and she runs out of wine and you're like, no worries, I got this whiskey. She's like, I don't like whiskey because she hates whiskey. But you're like, no, you got to try this one. And you put it in her glass. She goes, that's not bad. That's what this is. Also, the creaminess that that French oak cask is bringing. This is a nice whiskey. It's not doesn't have any bells and whistles. It's not going to blow your minds, but this ain't bad. Have a bottle of this around your house when your girl runs out of wine, and she's not a whiskey drinker. If she is, well, then don't bother. This is a good one to have around. I can totally see how this would fit in. This is a great introduction whiskey to whiskey for people who maybe are wine drinkers, white wine drinkers. Can't go higher than a 3.25, maybe 3.25. 3's average, 3.25. I don't know. Is there really anything about this that like brings it above an average score? Maybe not, other than like the 46% and that it's got a decent mouthfeel. Let's try some water first before we get ahead of ourselves. This is a good one to have around, man. This is one of those like, and if you don't have a partner, and whoever your partner is, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, they come over to your house and, you show them all your whiskey and they're like, whoa, what's up with those whiskey? And they get intimidated. You're like, no, I'll let you try some stuff that I think you're really going to like. Am I talking about my own life right now? That's what this is for. Try this. Try this one. This will be good. Oh, you don't like white wine? What about red wine? Let me get out the Glendronach Allardyce. Revival or something. There's a little bit of a the water's bringing out some of that sweet barley note. I like that. Fresh fruit though. My God. Sub $50 bottle. This is Daniel H. Well, there you go. Citrus, yes. Fresh fruit, tons of it. A little bit of vanilla, a little bit of spice. This is not smoky. That 8-year-old Kalila ain't bringing any smoke. What it is bringing is a little bit of just edge, a little bit of body and peatiness to it. Gives it a little. This would be a flat white wine without that Kalila in here, because there's just so much apple. Pear too. Yeah, definitely pear. You know, I think the only thing debatable about this is the Kalila and whether or not you want it. I mean, maybe it would actually be, it would be too flat without the Kalila. I think that's the case here. But I won't say that it's doing it much favors. It gives it some of that tang, some of that bite that you would expect from like a crisp wine, Riesling. But hey, man, you know what? This is 325, man. I'm just going to say it. This is a little bit above average. They did a good job with this. It's not something I'm going to buy for myself, but it wouldn't. This is something to have around, again, for those. It has a specific function. For your non-whiskey drinking friends who are maybe wine aficionados, or you're trying to impress some partner, this is a good one to throw in a glass. I would bet if you put this in a glass with 5 other red wine or white wines, particularly a Pinot Grigio, I don't think everybody you gave it to would know this was a whiskey. That's my bet. I'm serious. I don't think everybody would know this is a whiskey. It's got more full body, but it's creamy, it's smooth. The bite is only at the end, and it's Kalila instead of like sharp white grape or anything. Yeah, 325, man. Hey, hats off to Compass Box. They did a good job with this one. At that price, too. 50-some bucks. Why not? That's what I got. Cheers, Foodquig. I like it. I can't go too high on it just because I like it, though. You know, you got to keep those scores respectable. Otherwise, you know, you can't go too low or too high on stuff. Unless it's worthy of being too high, like a black art or something like that. Glenn going 25 or something. I've only given out a few 5 out of 5s, I think. Not because I'm the most discerning palate on Whiskey Tube, because I'm not. But I know which whiskeys I think are worth 5 out of 5s. The only bourbons I've ever given 5 out of 5s on, I think, is a couple batches of the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which to this day I still think is, you know, bang for your buck. Come on. Can't beat it. This isn't bad, though. This would be a nice starter whiskey. I like the 46%. I think this whiskey I think they could have easily just bottled this at 40 and dropped the price another $5 and just been like, screw it. Like, they have they gave it a somewhat integrity bottling here, you guys. That's worth something, right? Why did they put this at 46%? Who are they trying to sell this whiskey to when they got so much other stuff in their market? There's so much Compass Box and so much good Compass Box. Like, where does this fit into anything? This isn't, I mean, is this as good as their Great King Street Sherry Cask, peated Sherry Cask? No. But it's better than the bourbon cask for sure. I don't know who they're selling this to. I mean, I'm looking at their label. I'm looking at the labeling here. I'm looking at it. You know, they have really nice art on their labels. You know, I dig it. I dig that they're still bottling this with integrity. That's a lot of finish. There's a lot of casks going on here. 4 casks or 3 casks? 3 casks. They're not trying to sell this to, you know, the Scotch aficionado. It looks sort of like a wine label, though. Let's speculate. A wine drinker Scotch? Mehaps. 325, and that is a, if you're a 100 score person, this is in that 84 range, right? Look, this is a respectable whiskey. I've had worse experiences with Compass boxes than this. Not many. There's one I'm thinking of in particular. Which one was that? That was just kind of like, what? Why was this so expensive? No Name 2. Although I guess they've redeemed themselves with No Name 3. I haven't bought it. It's too expensive. I'm not interested. Hey, Compass Box Orchard House. This ain't bad whiskey. I'm not that interested in it, but I enjoyed that glass. Hence the sample. Have it around for strategic reasons if you're a seasoned whiskey head. If you're just getting into whiskey, yeah, you know, give it a try. But look, I'm not gonna sit here and badger this whiskey at all. This is solid. This is fucking solid. There you go. 325, a healthy, robust, respectable 325 on the Compass Box Orchard House. Keep your eyes open for it if you fit into the categories I mentioned. Let me catch up on the chat. My boy Bourbon Bounty is in the house. What up, North Carolina? I should tell y'all, Bourbon Bounty will be hosting me soon on his channel, wherein he and I will do a blind tasting of 3. It is what's better, bourbon or Scotch. I have sent him 3 samples of varying quality and deliciousness. He has sent me 3 samples. They are blind samples. Once Bounty and I figure out when we're going to do this, we'll keep you all posted. I'm going to try to convince him that Scotch is better than bourbon. He's going to try and convince me that bourbon is better than Scotch. I think we all know there's no real answer to this, but there is. So I await Bourbon Bounty's attempts to coax me into thinking that it's better. So this should be fun. Indy says, is Ben Romick the new spring rank? I wish it was. I like Ben Romick. I think they're the closest to it. They are a diet. They're like a diet spring bank. The problem with Ben Romick is that they don't bottle their stuff with. First of all, they're like, yeah, they bottle their stuff too low in ABV in many cases, and that might be it. That might be it. Like if their 15-year-old was 46% instead of 43, and their 15 is magic at 43. They are not as batch driven as Springbank. And that might be a good thing for folks, and that might not be a good thing for folks. It depends on what you're looking for. They don't have as much of that Dunnage Warehouse funk as Springbank does, but nobody does, so whatever. But they have some of it, which is good. I personally find them to be one of my more go-to distilleries. I have like at least 7 or 8 Ben Romicks. I have been disappointed with I think only one, which was one of their heavy wood finishes. It muddled their character a little bit. But Ben Romick they need to up their ABV, and that's what they need to do. Fuck this 43% stuff. They need to put that 21-year-old out at 46. Maybe they're trying to edge the market. They're trying to be cheap, but they'd still be cheaper than Springbank if they went up to 46%. Their 10 is a completely great standard, interesting intermediate level whiskey. Their 15 is really good. Their 21 is great. Their cask strength Imperial Proof 10 was awesome. I will tell you right now, full disclosure, I have been sipping, and you know what? Maybe I'll go with this right now. They have rebranded, as you know, and they have this Contrast series. Well, this is in the Contrast, they have the Peat Smoke. It's Peat Smoke Bourbon. I think there's another one. And then there's this one, which is the Peat Smoke Sherry Cask Matured, 46%, 9 years old. I will tell you right now, even though they probably chill filter, they don't say anything about chill filtration and natural color either, which annoys the hell out of me. But I'll tell you right now, this is going to be my top 5 whiskeys of the year. No doubt. I opened this on a live a while back. I have been slowly sipping it because I had to get it overseas. I don't care about their phenol level. It's all first fill sherry. Dude, this whiskey, magic. Vintage statement. Yes, it's made by hand, and you know they love telling you how much they make their stuff by hand and all that jazz. I will tell you right now, if you like a sherry peat whiskey, this is sub $70, and you should buy it immediately. It's awesome. I don't know how readily available it is in the U.S. Oh, it is non-chill filtered natural color. They say it on here. I wish they said that on all of theirs. They don't, but it does say it on this one. So 46% non-chill, natural color, age statement. Bam, bam, bam. Peat, sherry, first fill. Why not? It's awesome. Awesome whiskey. This will be in my top 5 whiskeys of the year. You heard it here first. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. It could even be higher up than that. Here's the color. Every time I think about this whiskey, I want to drink it. It's fantastic. The price on this was great. It's perfectly balanced. You got Dunnage Warehouse Funk. You got nice, fresh, red fruit driven nose, which is, of course, because this is first fill. This is boldly first fill. And you know what the other thing that first fill does is it masks over a little bit of the youth of this whiskey. So you got first fill sherry explosion with peat and smoke. It smells musty and older than it is because of the Dunnage Warehouse effect, because of the way that they do things over at Ben Romick. I love it. Let me see if I can get you a price quote on this. You want to know how much this whiskey is? The sherry cask. You're going to laugh at this. Ben Romick, Peat Smoke Sherry Cask. Oh, so first of all, one of my favorite whiskey review websites is our good friends over at Malt Review. And that seemed to be the first thing that came up. What do they say about it? 8 out of 10. They're totally right. And it's less than 50 pounds, which means less than $60, $65 US. So if you're looking for a peatier alternative to your Springbank desires, buy this whiskey. Ben Romick, Contrast, Peat Smoke, Sherry Cask Matured. All right, I'm done. All right. I hope not. You only have 3 chances. Favorite compass box. So I'm going to admittedly say I have not had some of the more higher end stuff, or at least the higher price stuff. I think the most expensive one that I've bought. Well, let me just see what I have. I think my favorite one is the Compass Box Extravaganza. The Spice Tree, Compass Box Spice Tree Extravaganza. That is not a whiskey that I have had much. That I don't know how much they make of it, and it is not much like the irregular Spice Tree, but it is my favorite. And I believe it was DH Silv 2. I'm sorry, Dustin, Top Shelf Dustin, told me about this a couple of years back, and he was hooting and hollering about this being a really good whiskey. So I went out and bought it, and he was right, as he is on many things. You should definitely check out their channel at some point if you haven't. Oh, the Oak Cross. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. No Name 3 is magic. Oh, he is in here. What's up, man? Yeah, I've heard that. I've just not had it. Distillery sent you a peated bourbon today. Hey, look. My bourbon of the year last year, because I mixed it up a little bit. I did, styles of the year. My bourbon of the year last year was a sherry finished with bourbon, and I have always been like, you can't finish bourbon in sherry. It's not that interesting. It doesn't add much. My bourbon of the year was the Rabbit Hole Derringer PX finish, and now I believe Daniel H told me they are putting out a cask strength version, which I'm gonna have to get my hands on. No Name 2, No Name 2. That was the one. Rogue Banquet and Magic Cask were really expensive. I have the Magic Cask. I have not had the Rogue Banquet. That one was much more expensive even around me. Absolutely love the Great King Street blend gifted bottle. It's likely to be my first one I buy when I finally get one. So many options. Always, brother. Always. Yeah, so the Great King Street, the Glasgow blend that was the sherry one. Yeah, that one's great. That's a really nice everyday whiskey. Sub $40 USD, probably sub 50 Canadian. Good whiskey. You're good. Once we get a date down, I'll start keeping folks going. Coates has agreed. Ben Romick 15 is a stunner even at 43. I know. It really is. Just imagine, just like the whiskey that we had, the whiskey that I'm reviewing on Friday, 200th whiskey review, Lafroig 15, bottled at 43%. In the case of the Ben Romick 15, I'm still a 4 out of 5 whiskey. That's a 90 out of 100 whiskey for me, even at 43%, even with likely chill filtration, even with likely fake color. That's how good that is. It could be magic, even more. Oh, no, I sent you 3 good ones. They're just of different style. I should have made myself more clear. Ben Romick 10 is probably my most poured warm-up dram. Yeah, Ben Romick 10 is fantastic. Scotch castles. You know it. It is a good distillery, man. I agree with you. Alpha Crown's in the house. What's up? How are you? I haven't scored the Ben Romick 15 yet. 88 to 90 for sure. I have very few 90 plus. Well, there you go. Dude, you're yeah. I think it's right there. Yeah. I mean, it's not below an 86 probably. I have not had the newer bottlings, but I'm sure it's fine. I'll tell you right now, though, the contrast peat smoke sherry cask mature, as I was mentioning, this is chef's kiss. You know what I love the most about this? The sherry smells old. It smells oxidized. It's drier. It's darker. It's not just bright, juicy red fruits. And this is first fill we're talking about here. And this is because of the dunnage warehouses, my best guess. And that flavor of the earthen warehouse kind of musty distillation that they are barrel aging warehouses they use is masking over a little bit of how sweet a first fill would be. And it's like it's got age to it. It smells older than it is. If you sipped this, you'd think it was at least a 12, if not a 15-year-old whiskey. It's a nice blend. So the long and short of it is, somebody asked if Benromic is the new Springbank. It's not the new Springbank, but it can be close to it. Maybe it's the new Kilkerran. This in Glen Scotia, if you're looking for that style, that kind of old world style, the mustiness, the kind of that flavor profile, Scotia and Benromic are what you spend your money on when you don't want to pay inflated prices for Springbank. So I've come around to you. Longmorn 15. 15 is a magic number, says Alpha Crime. Damn. Quiet subclass, that means he is a no. Quite the opposite, sir. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Okay. Hey, this has been a nice happy hour. I appreciate y'all hanging. I am going to wind things down. As I mentioned, Laphroaig 15 200th anniversary edition will be the review that drops Friday. I hope you all get a chance to see it and share your thoughts and tell me what you think about it. I quite enjoyed doing that whiskey review. Patreons, you will get that in your inbox probably at some point in time tomorrow. So you'll get first ability to share it. It is my 200th whiskey review video that I've posted, which is just crazy. Been at this for a while now, y'all. So I appreciate you guys a lot for the continued support and the hangs. Like I always say, I learn probably more from you than you ever will from me. But if I'm able to help you guys out with anything, that's great. Love the community. Love doing the whiskey stuff. Next week, I am, fingers crossed, going to have a whiskey directly from the 2022 Islay Festival from our good friends at one of my favorite distilleries, Bunnahabhain. Hopefully that will be in my hand by then and we can discuss it. Until then, I hope everybody seriously stay safe, be well, give your best to your loved ones, especially in these tough times, and drink to your health. With that, I will sign off and catch you guys all next week. Check that review on Friday. Solange.